Even the FBI is not able to forget these serial killers. For a long time, we've pondered the question of what drives some people to become serial killers. Is there a hereditary factor involved? Is the person's upbringing more to blame for their actions? Or do a number of other things come together to make some people dangerous to forget? The FBI has attempted to identify a number of elements that could shape an individual into a serial murderer, but every case is unique. It's crucial to keep in mind that serial murder has no identifiable root cause. Ted Bundy, 1946 to 1989. Ted Bundy isn't just for Americans or 1970s kids. Bundy was one of the most psychotic serial murderers, kidnappers, rapists, burglars, and necrophiles. He kidnapped, raped, and dismembered women. Their heads were typically mementos. He confessed to kidnapping and murdering 30 women before his 1989 execution. Harold Shipman, 1946 to 2004. Dr. Death. Harold Shipman is suspected of murdering 218 victims between 1972 and 1998. He probably killed many more. As a doctor, Shipman had easy access to patients, which allowed him to kill so many without being caught. Shipman was involved in so many patient deaths that people eventually suspected foul conduct. He claimed his victims died in their sleep, mostly elderly women. Strangely, several of these women died during the day. An undertaker noticed the strange cremations when Shipman requested a large number of cremation certificates. Shipman was convicted in 2000 after a victim's daughter revealed that he had tried to make a will that named him as the beneficiary. 2004, jail suicide. Andre Chikatilo, 1936 to 1994. Andre Chikatilo sexually abused, kidnapped, killed, and disfigured about 50 young women and children between 1978 and 1990. Chikatilo stabbed and cut his victims. 9-year-olds were present. He later admitted that he could only get climax by stabbing women, making it hard for him to resist his intense cravings to kill. Chikatilo was called the Butcher of Rostov, the Red Ripper, and the Rostov Ripper. He confessed to 56 savage murders, but was prosecuted for 53 and murdered by firing squad in 1994. Jeffrey Dahmer, 1960 to 1994. He is essential to any list of deranged serial killers. The Milwaukee cannibal Dahmer killed 17 young men over 14 years. Dahmer didn't just kill them, he raped, dismembered, and ate victims. Dahmer admitted to putting holes in his victims' heads to transform them into mindless sex slaves. During his trial in 1994, Dahmer was beaten to death in prison. Albert Fish, 1870 to 1936. The Brooklyn Vampire, Moon Maniac, Werewolf of Wisteria, Gray Man, and Boogeyman are all psychotic serial killers. Fish was convicted of raping, killing, and cannibalizing 3 children in the early 1900s. He said he had killed more than 100 children and had children in every state. Fish wrote to the mother of Grace Budd, a 10-year-old victim, which is particularly bizarre. The letter described how he seduced the girl, strangled her, then sliced her up to eat over 9 days. John Wayne Gacy, 1942 to 1994. He was crazy. Pogo the Clown, attended children's birthday parties and humanitarian events, earning him the nickname Killer Clown. His job provided easy access to victims. Over 6 years, Gacy raped, tortured, and killed 33 juvenile boys. He lured them to his home, strangled or asphyxiated them, buried them on his grounds. 1994, executed Gacy. Jack the Ripper, 1888. Everyone knows Jack the Ripper, but nobody knows his true identity. Jack the Ripper was insane. Jack the Ripper killed at least 5 prostitutes in London's Whitechapel area in 1888. He sometimes took the woman's uterus as a trophy. Ripperology, the study and analysis of the murderers, has inspired several what-if novels and films. Joachim Kroll. Between 1955 and 1976, German serial killer Joachim Kroll killed 14 people, including children. After strangling his victims, Kroll would have sex with them and eat them. A neighbor's plumbing backup led to Kroll's arrest. Human remains choked pipes. Kroll was boiling body pieces from his latest victim, 4-year-old Marion Ketter, when he was apprehended. Pedro Lopez, 1948. Pedro Lopez's psychotic killing spree is terrible. But his current whereabouts are even more terrifying. A Colombian native claims he raped and killed over 300 women throughout Colombia, Ecuador, and Peru. 100 were indigenous women. The monster of the Andes was caught in 1980 and led authorities to 53 9 to 12-year-old victims' graves. Lopez killed 110 Ecuadorian females. Insane, he confessed to 240 more murders in Peru and Colombia. Despite speculations, Lopez was freed for good behavior in 1998. Richard Ramirez, 1960 to 2013. Throughout the 1980s, Richard Ramirez terrorized Los Angeles neighborhoods. Ramirez, the Night Stalker, broke into homes and brutally murdered his victims, sometimes raping them beforehand. His victims varied from early 20s to 79-year-old women. He used firearms, knives, tire irons, machetes, and hammers. Ramirez never regretted his crimes. Before his execution, lymphoma killed him. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe if you like learning about these forgotten murderers.